Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about comic books,
costumes,
facts, boots,
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Knighthawk.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. This is episode 6 of the show. I am your host, Zach, joined by the War Machine to my Iron Man and Tony Stark, Mr. Mike.
Hello.
There you go. So you get to be War Machine. That's
I'm
a cool
happy to
one.
be War Machine. I like it when rockets shoot out of me.
Not to be confused with XL Man of War, which Bob Layton also did, who was very much a guy in a metal suit.
XL Man of War is like the bigger one, though, right? I mean, like
it was
huge.
And they made like a video game about it that was on like Genesis and stuff.
Is he the one that ends up in the Avengers? You know, when the suit.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the suit idea, though, right? Of it being like gigantic.
Well, that's the Hulk Buster armor.
Oh,
there's a whole story where he has to fight Hulk.
I apologize to anybody that insulted any of the Busters supporters out there.
Or the Hulk supporters.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's
because I bet there are a lot.
Oh, there has to be. And the funny thing too is you've noticed that you bring it up though. There's a lot of ideas out there. It's very much like comedy. I feel like, whereas you might not have heard somebody else tell a joke and you might have come up with a joke that's similar, but you know, people hear it and be like, "Oh, you stole this from me." Like there's not an original idea under the sun anymore, kind of.
I think it's more like virginity.
Okay.
Everybody,
please explain. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying we're in the comic book realm here, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's got their virginity. It's just how are they going to lose it, kind of thing, or do they lose it at all?
I guess, but I was looking at it more.
Hey, let me tell you about our sponsor this week. It is
perfect.
Testacuzzi. Testacuzzi for the nuts. It says it is a
it does say
beautiful
that on there.
product. Yeah, with a little squirrel on it.
It's taken me 6 episodes to realize they have a tagline.
It's got a little power button on the side, got a little rest place for your unmentionables, and then your berries go down in the juice.
In the water,
you put the water in here, you put your berries in the juice, you put your unmentionable on the pillow, you turn on the little switch, and you get a little massage.
And
but it's never been used that way.
No.
I traditionally use it as a phone holder.
It's Mike's phone holder every time we
Works
come in
great.
here. But I told Mike that I might be a little disappointed if eventually we don't hear back from them. Like,
sure.
My goal is to get that Testacuzzi money.
Yeah. I don't know how much that is, but Testacuzzi for the nuts or your phone.
There you go. So they're brought to you by Testacuzzi again. Hopefully we'll hear back from him one day.
Sure.
Today's hero, it's a hero.
Okay,
so
great.
I usually try to keep a pretty, fair look at both sides of the law here.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a guy by the name of Knighthawk.
Traditional.
Yes, very much so. And there are a lot of bird superheroes. So just be prepared.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. I waited 5 episodes before doing another bird creature.
I mean, I guess it's the flight or something.
I think so.
Guess.
Especially I'd say like early on, but this guy's from 95. So
it's real easy to just go flying bird. Okay.
Yeah.
Strongman muscle.
Oh,
sure.
Exactly. So if he's big, he's got muscles. If he has wings, he just flight. So It's Knighthawk is our guy. Now, this is a limited series that was published by Valiant Comics under their creator-owned Windjammer imprint.
Yeah.
Now, Windjammer.
Hey, in 95, I think everybody owned a Windjammer.
Well,
they were so comfortable and they had the little flaps on the pockets and stuff.
Is that the shirt kind of like? Is
I
it
just
like
made that up, Zach. I don't know.
I was about to say. I remember a video game that was called Windjammer that was like for Super Nintendo, but it was like a frisbee game mixed with soccer where you had to like throw the frisbee in the opponent's.
And then kick the guy.
No, there was no kicking. It was just
how was it mixed with soccer then?
Because you threw the frisbee into a goal.
Oh, so it was like frisbee golf. Yeah,
but it wasn't like holes. It was like you could run around. I don't know. I think they remade it. Go check out Windjammers if you want to.
Windjammers. This episode brought to you by 1995's Windjammers.
But there was only 5 other. I'm sorry. There were 5 stories in total.
Okay.
That were told through the Windjammer imprint, and eventually Valiant sold it off.
Yeah.
To Acclaim, and it became part of Acclaim Comics.
Is this the same Acclaim who makes toys?
And video games, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The last, so basically Windjammer lasted until it started mid-95 and ended like first part of 96.
Wow.
So
Stuck
it doesn't
around.
last long.
Yeah, that's great.
But the series is written by Neil Adams. It's illustrated by Adams as well as Ernesto Infante. And Neil Adams is the name that, to a comic book fan, I feel like everybody knows Neil Adams.
Sure.
It's up there with like the Jack Kirbys, the Stan Lees. Neil Adams has done so much great art that when you think of Batman,
Yeah.
a lot of times you think of the art that he did. Like he created some of the most memorable scenes for that character
Right.
through like the 60s and 70s and even a little before. Same with Green Lantern. So he's a guy who's known for a lot of great work.
I just never got into Green Lantern.
I never did really that much either.
Why are
It
there so
looks
many-
like the
Why are there
stuff that
so
he
many
does looks
colors of a
good,
thing
but-
called Green Lantern?
Well, let's not forget that one of the first Green Lanterns, his weakness was the color yellow in wood. So
That's wonderful.
a number 2 pencil, I think, was the joke. Could just take him out.
Take him right out. Yeah.
I've never been big on Green Lantern either, but it looked good when Neil Adams drew it. And there's some stories that are decent. It's just, it gets a little too convoluted for me with Green Lantern. That doesn't mean that we won't eventually dive into the Green Lantern core. I'll figure out a way to explain it. But
yeah. Oh, that'd be great because I've always been confused by that.
well, I mean, we're gonna have to break it off in little bite-sized chunk pieces because after a while, it just kind of you lose yourself in everything that's going on. So at first, Adams, this is basically he didn't write the story. I think Pete Stone wrote the story, but it was more of everything that it's put in these comics. Is it says plot by Neil Adams.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's an idea that he had for this character to run it out.
It's a cocktail napkin.
Yeah, and then threw it out. He had his own company called Continuity Comics.
Wonderful
That he
name for
created
a
in
comic book.
1984.
Continuity Comics.
But by 94, when they were thinking about this, it was discontinued because of legal and financial problems. So that's why Nighthawk was published by Windjammer
I see.
on Valiant.
Always a good sign when a movie switches studios 4 or 5 times before
Yes.
it comes out. When a comic goes from one label to 3 others.
It
always
was
a good sign.
one, like I think Adams did other work for Valiant, but they were just like, oh, you have this idea? Here, we'll just put it out on Windjammer.
You know who's been involved in a lot of that? Zack Snyder.
I was waiting for it. Yeah. He is. Oh, did you see? I mean, it's been out for a while. We just haven't talked about it. That you could see the Justice League in black and white now, too.
Oh my gosh. That'll change everything.
Yeah, that'll make it a better movie.
Wait, you can see it in black and
Yeah,
white?
it's Justice League black and white. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just telling you it's out there.
Testacuzzi.
By the way, the newest
Put Zack
Suicide...
Snyder's face in a testacuzzi.
Poor, I bet you he's such a nice guy. Like, sometimes I feel bad, but at the same times, I don't really care because it's funny.
Yeah, I get you.
So let's go ahead and dive into Nighthawk now that I've given you kind of the background of how he wound up there. Basically, again, there's only 6 issues of it, and it's very confusing.
Okay.
And I have my notes here, Mike. I have it more as just so in case I get lost, because some of this I'm just going to have to explain and try to do the best I can.
Right, I got you.
The first time that we're introduced to Nighthawk, it's a guy in like a silver metal-like suit, purple cowl, slicked back.
Okay.
But it's attached to these wings that he has, these giant purple wings. And he has metal claws on his hands.
Right.
It's weird because it doesn't show that like the metal claws fit around his hands. It looks like he just has metal claw hands.
Right.
But
Maybe he does.
The best way they're like, how are we going to introduce this
shame
character?
the metal claw-handed.
Well, no. I'm trying to think of other famous metal claw-handed people. I'm pretty sure there was a James Bond villain.
Yeah.
He did something.
Yeah, I think he's.
Oh, Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. There's another famous guy with the metal.
There's another made-up famous guy.
They decide that they're going to introduce us to this character.
Okay.
Show you how he fights crime. He busts through an orphanage window. And there's a very old woman there.
All right.
Talking to a couple.
She hasn't been adopted yet?
No, she hasn't. Okay. She has been there forever, and she is patiently waiting.
Poor
still.
lady.
But tonight's the night because Nighthawk has shown up.
Okay.
No. Sure. The old woman runs the orphanage, and the couple that's there is looking to adopt.
Sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
He basically just shows up and it's like, hey, I know you're running a dirty orphanage.
A dirty orphanage.
not like it's not clean, but just, yeah. And she calls him a liar.
What is she doing?
She calls him a liar.
She's selling kids?
And he like they're basically child trafficking people there.
Okay.
Because she's like,
orphanage.
she calls him a liar And then she like pulls a gun on him and has henchmen that come out and everything.
Sure.
But like he can block.
If you're going to be shipping some kids, I mean, you got to have people that can pack them up.
This is an old woman who has like.
One of them runs the tape gun.
No.
I mean,
the tape gun makes it sound like they just hold it and they're like, all right, spin around, kids, until you're all tape.
Well, yeah,
so
work smarter, not harder.
It's not a long process. He ends up punching this old woman too.
Sure.
Because, sometimes.
Who wouldn't? She's running a dirty orphanage.
Yeah. And the whole time the family there, like he wipes out all the goons and the old lady. And the family's there, we had no idea. And they're like, it's because you didn't even ask. Like, it's just
So when people are adopting kids, here's a little tip. Go up to the old lady and say, hey, is this orphanage dirty?
Yeah.
And see what she says. Yeah.
And
are you shipping kids around?
Nighthawk. It's a completely different.
Go Nighthole.
Later, when he couldn't find work.
Sure.
And created a whole new line of. So.
Aren't you Nighthawk? Shut up and give me 20.
I can tell because that metal finger sticking through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See,
has the claw on it and everything. It has like talons. It has talons on his hands, and he has them on his feet too.
Some guys are into that.
So he like punches through the wall and rips it down,
right?
To show just all these kids living in like a secret room. So that's how we're introduced to Nighthawk. Yeah. Is him taking down this old lady in this orphanage.
Well, she had henchmen.
Yeah.
So
and 2 or multiple henchmen.
She was expecting it.
And the funny thing is too, like it's only 6 episodes. They confuse him for it's that hero Megalith. Like, you got to watch out for him. He's strong.
Megalith.
Yeah, and the old woman's like, that's not Megalith. That's some bird brain. Megalith never brought up again. Don't know who he is.
Okay.
I guess he was in this.
Yeah.
I don't know if they wrote more.
Do your research on Megalith.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just he doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
So
it was a fun show, guys. See you later.
Yeah. No, so there's a lot of that, like just things brought up. You like this? Mongolia is brought up as a location at one point in time. But there's something with the location that leads to just the most head scratching piece of writing I've ever seen, which I'll get to.
Cool.
So we find out that Nighthawk is really a guy by the name of Scott Pike. He's a doctor.
Okay. Of course.
Of some sort. I don't know what. He wears a white lab coat. They call him doctor.
Hey.
Could be a proctologist for all I know.
Can we go back just a little bit? You had a note here that says his wings can move to protect him from blows.
Oh, I'm getting into
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That part hasn't. I guess you know what? I'll go ahead and bring it up now.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and go over his costume before we get to Scott Pike the man.
Yeah.
So yes, I've talked about the metal claws. Talons. Let me not call them claws. They're like talons, like a hawk, on both his feet and his hands. He has a cape that it says sometimes moves like it knows what's coming.
Like Spawn.
It has but it's not. It's like it's just mechanical of some sort.
Okay.
But yeah, he uses it to like when bullets are shot at him to deflect bullets. He uses it to kind of like when people try to hit him to like block and stuff. So he uses the wings.
Basically, when fights start, he just curls up in this cape.
Yeah. But he carries his main weapon because he likes to fight hand to hand and he can fly with the wings and everything.
Right.
But his main weapon is a pair of guns that he keeps holstered. Now, usually when you holster guns, I've seen people obviously on the waist, even thinking comic book wise or show wise on the waist. Maybe they're the cool detective has like the jacket strap.
Thing,
He has them basically wrapped around his calves and ankle area. So like anytime you reach down for it, you would think, oh, Nighthawk's about to shoot us.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe he crouches a lot. Like a bird, like
maybe he never down. He never stands up, he just crouches down and like waddles everywhere.
Like Pigeon Man.
Well, it's more if he waddled it'd be Penguin Man too, but
pigeons waddle.
Do they? Yeah. I don't know. Doves.
For the sake of this argument, they do.
All right, Pigeon Man would waddle around everywhere. No, so his guns that are basically strapped around his ankles contain a magnetic superconductor circuit.
Sure.
That propels the guns from the holster to his hands.
So basically, he just puts his hands out and goes gun, and it just
he doesn't say anything. I don't know.
Well, Zach, come on. At this point in his career, does he really have to say anything to the guns? They just know.
I guess, but he just like sticks his gun, like his hands out, and the gun's out of there right to his hands.
I wonder if that was ever like a really inconvenient thing. You know, you stick your hands out to like get your tray at Luby's or something, and boom, there go your guns.
I don't think you would dress up like Nighthawk to go to Luby's.
I don't know what this guy does.
That is true.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, he's taking out dirty orphanages.
He gets a free fish and chips plate when he goes dressed as.
Does he show up to your local like cafeteria type eatery?
Oh, sure.
And he's like, "This is a dirty eatery."
There's a dirty eatery.
Yeah, he breaks down the wall and there's kids there, and they're like,
No, there's cooks.
"Oh,
There's a whole bunch of cooks being kept in a room back there. Yeah.
Well, no, I was thinking of
We
like,
were trying to keep the place clean, mister.
but the patrons are like, "We didn't know," and they're like, "You didn't even ask." Oh man. So yeah, and these guns.
This show brought to you by Luby's.
Regular bullets. He shoots a taser out of him at one point, exploding armor-piercing rounds against one of the big guys that he fights. So
wait a minute, wait. His guns shoot bullets, and his guns act as a taser.
Yeah,
and his guns shoot exploding armor-piercing rounds.
He never changes out ammos,
cool.
but in the different, it's used as different things at different times.
Sure,
but it's the same guns.
That's so convenient.
I wonder if he has a dial, like he just turns it one way to
Well, like Batman needs to talk to him because every time Batman needs something, he has to pull out that very specific thing.
But he has it all on his utility belt.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like the shark repellent and all that kind of stuff, you know.
I thought he just always had that on him.
He always has all those on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's always prepared. Batman, the ultimate Boy Scout. So that is Nighthawk's fighting style.
Okay.
Summed up.
Yeah.
Basically, though,
I just keep reading the sentence that says he punches the old lady, so that's something.
Well, it's like there's nothing about, like she is super frail.
Yeah, sure.
And I know she pulled a gun, but
Right.
still, it just seems weird to see this man who's built like in his late 20s, early 30s, just complete physical specimen.
knocking out
punching
grandma.
this old woman in the face.
Right.
After
In an orphanage.
Yeah, in an orphanage.
Right.
After that, though, as I said, Mr. Scott Pike, he's a doctorate research facility. He gets home.
This is
to
Scott
crash.
Pike.
Scott Pike.
And he
our
is,
Nighthawk.
tell me one more time what he does.
He's a doctor of some sort.
He's a doctor. Okay. He's a doctor who works at a research facility.
Yes. Now, he gets home from cleaning up the dirty orphanage.
Sure.
Takes his costume off. And it looks on his back, Mike, that he has like these weird little shapes, like kind of wings.
Are they tattoos?
But not really wings?
Are they just little...
It's like skin.
What do you call it? Vestigial wings?
I guess. Like they're there.
You know, I had those one time from churches. They're not that great.
Oh, really?
The vestigial wings.
Too bony?
Yeah, they're a little bony.
Yeah. But
This show brought to you by churches.
we're just going to keep throwing sponsors at the wall
until somebody gets it back with us.
What happens first? Somebody calls us and they're like, all right, we got it. Or somebody calls us and they're like, please don't mention us on your show.
Publicity, baby. Any of it's good.
Exactly. So he has like these wing things, but it's never brought up until the very last issue. So
okay. I'm waiting for it.
yeah, they're there. He falls asleep.
The weird thing is at the end of this, the last issue, somebody just goes, ugh, those are weird.
Yeah. Well,
and that's it. Fade to black.
there's you're not going to get a lot of explanation on stuff here.
Great.
But that's kind of part of the beauty of this one. So he falls asleep and he's awoken by this woman on a TV screen,
Right.
like an alarm clock.
Okay.
And he's like, well, I didn't ask to be, woken up. And it says you're needed down in whatever lab.
Is it like on his wrist or is it just in front of him?
It's like a screen that's at the foot of his bed.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it's
So
some
it's a
sort
TV.
of like, it's a TV, but it's not an actual, it's like, I don't know who it is
Yeah.
that's telling him this because we'll get to it. Why?
Sure.
While he's sleeping, there's this guy dressed up in all metal who looks like one of the Centurions from the cartoon in the 80s.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
I remember the Centurions from, are you talking X-Men?
No, they were, I'm telling you, useless knowledge I have. It was an 80s cartoon, and they're like former like army specialists, like ground, water, air. And they had this like spaceship in the sky that would send them parts and they would turn into
Are you
like
sure you're not confusing with Earth, Wind, and Fire?
the band.
Did they sing?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that'd be cooler. I would feel better about having it on my wedding playlist than I did before. But that was one the wife wanted in, so I let her have it.
Which
Everybody,
one was it?
September.
Oh, it was September. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. But no, and so like
The rest of it was your music? Is that what you're saying?
I'll let her pick some other ones.
The rest of it was gangster rap and the Tiny Toons theme.
Yeah,
that was it.
That was it. We got married. We got married to a lot of NWA.
Gotcha. Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody was so pissed off after this wedding.
They were, but I was just sitting there singing along to it.
Sure.
But
Today was a good day.
that was the solo album. That was on the.
Excuse me. Whoa. Whoa.
Wow, I just turned
Called out on my hip hop knowledge there,
So,
which I have none.
but in Centurions, they would send this beam down, and it would like turn them into like human like airplanes or like submarines or.
So this was a toy commercial.
It was, but it was
Basically.
like a cartoon.
Yeah, but I'm saying this was so they could sell some. Yeah, okay, I got you.
That was like everything in the 80s.
Yeah.
So that was the Centurions, but it's a guy who kind of looks like that.
Okay.
His name Hitman. He doesn't come up again.
Hitman.
There's a lot of characters that just show up once and then you never hear from him again.
Hey Scott, I'm Hitman.
But and he breaks into the research facility.
Okay.
By the
This
time
is the one where he works.
Where he works. By the time Scott gets down there, he realizes everybody in the research facility is dead.
Oh no.
And a project they were working on called Nemo has been stolen.
Nemo.
That's the end of our first issue.
And this is not Nemo, the mariner
No.
of the deep guy.
Neymar? Not Neymar.
Oh, okay.
Neymar's the soccer player.
Name. You got something wrong.
I did. It happens occasionally. It's something like that.
But
Whatever.
I did think he was named Nemo though.
He is. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about Namor, the weird one that looks like a vampire, but he swims a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That guy.
The other guy that
And only
controls
wears a
fish.
and only wears a speedo.
Yeah.
So
What a power. Come here, fish.
that's why I always. You ever watch Robot Chicken?
Yeah.
I've always loved the DC specials they do because of how much they make fun of
Sure.
Aquaman for that.
Aquaman's a terrible. I mean, why did they look? They had to make him big and brawny and shit. Otherwise, people are just going to make fun. There's no way to take that costume and make it look good
No.
on film.
And
no
like,
way.
that's why they had to
That's why you haven't seen Robin either.
No.
Other than that one stupid Batman
With
movie.
Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah.
He was in 2.
Because it looks terrible.
It does
It's
look
awful
bad.
looking. Your
Well,
legs are sticking out.
Schumacher also added the bat nipples and stuff,
Sure.
which was weird.
Sure.
But there's a way to do it, but you're right. It's not like Jason Momoa looks like a man who can just beat the piss out of almost anybody.
Aquaman never looked like that.
And he still didn't.
Ever.
Like, it took all of Jason Momoa to make him not look.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not on him. That's more on the character of Aquaman.
No,
but
it's
still.
the character of Aquaman. And I'm saying that Namor is worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's worse than Aquaman. If I saw that comic when I was a kid, I would just throw it on the floor. I would not. I'm not participating.
He's
in
come
that.
up. The only thing I've read about him is he's come up in older, like Iron Man stuff I read.
Yeah.
I usually come across him that way, where he's like written into a
No,
book.
he's freaking awful. He's got those big eyebrows, weird ears.
Doesn't he have, like elf ears?
Yeah, he's got why?
Maybe he's
Anyway,
from the
sorry,
Shire.
this is not about Namor, but whatever.
Maybe he's from the Shire, which, by the way, you ready for me to say something? One of the first things I'm going to say that'll get people to hate me.
Sure.
Not a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Hey, you wanna watch people hate somebody faster? I've never seen them all.
Really?
Yeah.
I've watched them. They're okay. I just don't get
My
it.
wife watches them anytime they're on.
Same with my wife.
USA has ruined so many movies for me.
Oh, yes.
Because
TNT, too.
They just run them over and over and over. And then the only time they're not running that, they're showing you Battleship or something like that,
Something that didn't get a lot of good.
Battleship. Come on.
I've seen, because of TNT, I've sat through Shawshank Redemption so many times just because I love that movie. But it is not, it's a heavy movie.
And it's not great with commercial breaks.
No.
Yeah. He was trying to break out the wall. Hey, Swiffer mop. It's the best. I freaking hate that. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I couldn't remember
Tommy
the character.
Tommy just got shot. This could change everything. Hey, let me talk to you about Palmolive's new. Yeah.
I know this has nothing to do with this
No,
podcast, but the other thing that kills me are those networks. They have 10 commercials, and that's it. They show those same 10 commercials.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
I have seen Shaq bust into his Papa John's pretending to be somebody else probably 1,100 times.
And that's just
this
not
week.
even a good commercial anyway.
Yeah, it's a terrible commercial, but I've seen it maybe 1,100 times this week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awful.
But they do have stuff.
Hey, by the way, this podcast is brought to you by Papa John's and the General.
Yep. Not the racist Papa John's, the current
No,
Papa John's.
no, the new one.
Yeah, which we assume is all up and up. Shaq's a part of it.
Yeah, Shaq bought into it. He's a smart man.
He is. He has his doctorate.
Yeah.
He could be just as much of a doctor as Scott Pike here.
He's also a cop.
That is true.
Yeah.
And not like the DMX RIP kind of cop where he would just pull people over for the fun of it.
No, he's a real cop.
Yeah.
But in Florida. So, asterisk.
You could get a lot of work there probably. So
can this bird boy after he falls down on hard luck.
So everybody's dead here. Nemo's missing.
Everybody's dead.
Yep.
The big project Nemo is gone.
Nemo turns out to be an android.
Okay.
That they had been working on.
Sure.
And this is the easiest way for me to explain it, is just to explain it from the get-go because this story is very convoluted. So Nemo is this android that they were working on at the research facility. He is obviously very powerful. We learned that another, like an evil scientist and a corrupt general are the ones who have gone ahead and stolen this creation.
And the old lady's husband from the orphanage.
Maybe.
Sure.
I mean, might as well. It makes this more interesting. But when they created Nemo, they have 3 boxes that they were going to install into Nemo. I guess think like mother boxes from...
Yeah, I got you.
So the first one that they installed with was his like battling aptitude, his skills, like made him a fighter. Which, if it were me, I'd put that one in last.
Yeah.
Because the other 2 the second one is like history and
so it's knowledge.
Thought. It's knowledge. Sure. And the last one is memories that they made for him to make him have a human-like life.
Okay.
Like they've made a life for him.
Yeah.
And they're making basically just a human android.
I'm seeing these little flashbacks of like this little robot running around in the grass.
I guess.
Pitching the ball back and forth with an IBM supercomputer or whatever.
They basically made it where he would believe he's a human.
Right.
So he has the first box. He's just a war machine.
Yeah.
And they have kidnapped him, and the general is using him to fly all over the world, Russia, other places, and destroy their nuclear weapons. Because if America has all the nuclear weapons, then we have control over everybody, and we can just take over everything.
Sure.
So that's the deal here, is they want to use Nemo to take over everything.
Keep the Cold War going.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I guess to stop the Cold War, right?
Well, I guess stop the Cold... Well, it's 95.
Because these are evil American guys,
These are evil... They just want to be able to control, like, have an army big enough to be able to take over everything.
I get that, sure.
I'll jump to this part because this is the best part to put it. It's some of the weirdest comic book writing I've ever come across. On one of the missions that that Nemo goes out to destroy something, it says in North Vietnam or Laos or North Korea. The writer doesn't even know where Nemo is going to do this. They were just like...
In one of those Asian places.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a weird thing. I've never seen anybody say, because it's just like, we don't know what country. It's just one of these 3.
It's one of these 3. Because they were already in the box.
Yeah, I feel like they're like, hey, it's going to print. Where do you want it to be from? Those are 3 places.
I don't know. Laos?
North. I'll just write them all 3 down. And then that's what they did.
Good thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So apparently he's even blowing up stuff in North Vietnam or Laos or North Korea.
Right.
One of those 3 places is not having a good day.
They're all rough. Yeah. Go get them, Nemo.
Basically, the Nemo, there's a giant battle between Knighthawk and Nemo. Yeah, Scott and Knighthawk.
He's still dressed as Scott.
Well, again, it's just very convoluted, and there's a lot of time spent for something that didn't need all these issues to do it.
I get you.
Basically, there's a whole under storyline that I'm not even going to bring up because it doesn't matter at all. I'll just say that one of the girls that worked at the facility, we find out her sister was a cop who like helped the general come in to steal stuff, and they weren't supposed to harm anybody, but they shot and killed her sister that was in there.
We want to make it clear that this is not the Shaq involved general.
No. This is the evil general.
Right.
So she ends up shooting the evil general and stuff too. Like she wipes out the villains and then kills herself. So
yeah,
that's I don't get why all that happened, but that was part of the story.
Nothing more that I like in my comics is suicide? A good murder suicide.
Yep.
You know,
everything. It's what's missing from all the ones where you're just like, I can't put my finger on it. What was it?
If there were more like fish murder suicide in Aquaman, I would have read a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a swordfish that's just like goes on
spares them all. Yeah.
And then
runs
somehow
himself into a rock.
God. Yeah. I'd watch that.
Sure.
It's got to be more entertaining.
Yeah. Sounds great.
So
Glub, glub, glub.
The big thing is just the battle between Nighthawk and Nemo.
Okay.
Which lasts from issue 2 all the way to issue 4.
That's a big fight.
Yeah. And remember, this is 6 issues.
Yeah.
So basically what it comes down to
So issue 2, 3, and 4 out of 6, they're just fighting.
Are fighting in some way, shape, or form.
All right.
It doesn't really move the story forward that much.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of just describing like how he moves with the fight and like his thing. It was not a fun read.
Right.
It just felt like it was a lot of posturing for this fight. Like this was supposed to be a really big thing, and it just didn't feel like a really big thing. But it comes down to basically Scott asks,
Where did they fight each other?
Everywhere.
Was it in Laos? Was it
or
in
North
Vietnam? Was it?
Or maybe it was North Korea. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I guess somewhere in the States. It doesn't really say in other places. Like they fight in the middle of a giant building. They fight, and part of it's on like an airplane hangar. And basically, though, Nemo does eventually. They install his second box. The bad guys
While
do.
he's fighting?
No, beforehand.
Oh, okay.
Because they think that he's just too much.
Go here, catch this.
It's giant boxes. And it gives him like history and stuff. So now he's like able, like military history and stuff like that. So he's better, he's smarter.
Got it.
Basically, though, this giant thing that lasts so long comes down to a very Batman versus Superman like ending.
Okay.
Where Scott goes, "Are you going to kill me?" Like Nemo finally gets the upper hand on Nighthawk. And Scott goes, "Are you going to kill me?" And Nemo hesitates a little bit. And then flash forward to they show back up at the bad guy's place to steal the third box. And they take out the bad guys.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
What happened?
He basically just asked him, "Are you going to kill me?"
Yeah.
Something for Nemo about killing somebody caused him to be like, "No, I don't want to." So they fly back to the bad guy's place.
And they get the third box.
And they get the third box. And then Scott has revealed to Nemo that he's also Dr. Scott Pike.
Why did he tell him that?
Because he like fixes his injuries from their battle.
Well, that kind of makes sense, I guess, because he was part of that place where everybody got killed.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, wait, I'm Dr. Pike."
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he also says, "I can
Blackboard?
install the third box for you
Yeah.
to make you a man." And then Nemo's just like, "I don't know if I want that to happen." He doesn't know if he wants to become a man or not. So he just leaves with the third box. Okay. And maybe I'll see you later and you can install it then.
He just lets him go.
That's it. There you go. That giant fight, that's how it ended.
This is good.
Yeah.
Love this. And I got to tell you, if I have ever read a story that is more Zack Snyder, I don't know what it is.
I did put in a Martha-like scene from Batman vs. Superman. Nemo stops, and instead they go back and steal the boxes back from the bad guy.
Yeah. Flashbacks.
All right. So then the last 2 issues, Mike. Because why don't we just try to explain the entire story in 2 issues? Because we have no origin or anything.
Yeah.
Even why. If you want to know why it's a hawk that he dresses up. No.
Oh, wow.
This is the closest we get to an origin.
Okay.
And if you want to know why he dresses up like a hawk, well, your guess is as good as mine because it's never explained. Except for those little wing things on the back.
Yeah.
We're just thrown into, and I shit you not, I kid you not.
You can use shit. It's okay.
I know. I just didn't know what we wanted to do. I tried to be nice and,
Yeah.
But.
No, this deserves it.
It starts out, and it's like the 5th issue is Scott is like looking on a computer for something, and his phone's ring, or there's a beep, and all of a sudden he switches to his Nighthawk outfit, and he leaves, and he comes up across this like giant fighter plane.
Okay.
And he knocks on the window
of the fighter plane.
Yeah.
As it's in the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
And starts talking to this guy who talks back to him.
Excuse
and
me.
we find out, oh, hey, he has a brother named Jay. That's
Jay
how they
Pike.
introduce it. Jay Pike.
Old Jay Pike.
And he's like, "Hey, Jay, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm going to rescue mom and
Flying
dad."
a friggin' plane. What do you think I'm doing?
"I'm going to rescue mom and dad. They've been kidnapped."
Oh, no.
Why didn't you tell me? I figured I could deal with this on my own. So you have a brother who fights crime that you know. Your parents are kidnapped.
Okay.
You're like,
sure.
I got this.
I like this guy's name, the one who kidnapped him.
Well, that's the thing, too, is he says that they've been kidnapped by General Karas, or Karas, who was then called General Chaos later in the same issue.
It sounds kind of the same.
It does, but like
Plus, Chaos is so much cooler than Karas.
Jay called him Karas. Nighthawk calls him General Chaos. So maybe he knows.
Maybe that's why Jay didn't want to go get him. He's like, not again with the nicknames and the superhero crap. Come on,
maybe
man.
that's the thing is he's trying to make this like I'm legit going to save mom and dad, and all you do is dress up as a costume and you give people villain names.
Why didn't you tell me it was General Chaos?
Like, no, that's General.
God, shut up.
General Crass. We've talked about it. But they're basically attacked by General Chaos's goons.
He brings Jello to every event.
that
It's
are
terrible.
There's like a guy named Cannon who has a gun.
Oh, good.
There's another guy who looks like a Hulk, but his name's like Bulk or something like that. I don't remember. Oh no, Brick. His name's Brick.
That's even better.
Yeah, but he just looks like a Hulk ripoff. But they capture him and they take him into General Chaos. Not the real General Chaos though.
Wait, what?
It's a hologram.
Oh, okay.
Because he's too smart to be caught in the same place.
Sure. He's General Chaos.
Yeah, but
He's got holograms all over
he
the place.
has a doctor that works with him who says, I'm going to tell you, Pike Boy, something about your past you might not know.
Listen, Pike boys.
Yeah, calm down here, Pike Boys.
Listen
I'm
up,
going to tell
Pikeys.
you what's what.
Sure.
So he proceeds to tell them the story that this doctor worked with the Pike Boys' parents back in the day.
Oh, no.
And they really wanted to become pregnant, but they just couldn't.
Wait, the boys?
No, the parents.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about the boys. It's not brought up. They might. But
Gee willikers, wouldn't it be great if we could have a baby?
They could never figure out what it was. And eventually they found out that
They couldn't figure out why they couldn't have a baby?
like why they couldn't have kids.
okay.
And eventually somehow she does become pregnant, but then she learns she's going to lose the fetus.
Oh, no.
Yes. Well, they're abducted by aliens because what kind of, comic book would be complete without aliens?
Yeah, sure.
And using alien technology, they're able to fix the child in her womb.
Okay.
Now, obviously there's some side effects and stuff.
No.
And they were worried because even after it was fixed and she gave birth to the baby, there were still complications. And they were worried maybe something could happen. So they made a clone of the baby.
So the baby that's messed up, they made a clone of that baby.
Yes.
Okay.
Jay, the older brother, is the baby
Jay
that was
Pike.
fixed with alien technology.
Okay.
Scott Pike, Nighthawk,
Oh, he's the clone.
is the clone.
Oh.
So during the whole time they're telling this story.
So do they both have the little weird wings?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's because of alien technology, I guess. It's not explained.
Aliens, wings, birds.
Yeah, just alien technology made the kids grow wings and the clones grow wings of some
It
sort.
happens.
But through this whole time, they're like, we know this story. Our parents have already told us. And then at the end, though.
I knew that. Get out of my way, General Chaos'
then at the end,
hologram.
General Chaos is like, Nightfog.
Nightthawk. I love how you hate this character so much you keep renaming it.
Nighthawk.
Nighthole, Nightthawk, Nightfart.
They were going to have Peter Falk play him. Like he just wanted it to be called Nightfog. So that's what it was. But so in all the story, basically after General Chaos is like, now that you know this, you can come and fight for me if you want to. And Nighthawk goes, sure. There you go. That's issue 5.
Well, there you go. Good.
So now he's going to fight for the evil guy.
So now he's a bad guy.
Well, now this is the last issue, and it opens, and both brothers are mad at each other. And I mean, obviously, if you read the last issue, it's because Nighthawk has now decided to, fight for General Chaos.
Dr. General Chaos.
That's why. But instead, somebody's like, "Well, what's the deal with you two?" And Scott tells this story of like Jay, the
Wait,
non-clone.
Dr. General Chaos asked him, what's the deal with you two?
No, like,
Hey guys, what's the deal with y'all?
like it's the other like cronies around there.
Brick.
Or like, Brick or like Cannon or somebody's like,
What's your deal?
yeah, what is the deal with you two anyway? And so he tells the story, like when they were growing up, apparently Jay was very athletic and Scott, the clone, was
Brick
just
bash.
super smart. Right? And so he had been working on these wing prototypes.
Sure.
Which turned out to be the wings he uses now. But he got
Scott
really...
made the wings?
Scott made the wings.
Okay.
He wanted to show them to Jay because he was proud. He's like, hey, I made these.
Hey, look at my wings.
And it just flash forwards to... Because the boys look alike, obviously.
Well, they're clones.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it shows one of them in the wings for the text. Like he goes, hey, Jay, Scott does. These are the wings I made, buddy. And I think they're going to work out really great. I'm taking them on a test flight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, so we flash forward in a panel and we see like dressed up in the wings and starts to fly and then falls down. And then we cut to a hospital and one guy's wrapped up and the other brother's there and he goes, Jay, why did you steal my wings? I missed.
Frickin' Jay.
He got excited and he was like, I just want it to fly. And it felt so right there. But like doctors tell him that he's never going to be athletic again.
Premature wingulation.
Yeah, and it killed his athleticism. So that's why he's
fall from the sky, that'll do it.
The Air Force. I don't know.
Sure.
But basically, that's why he's mad.
So that's why they don't like each other.
He can't fly like his. No. It wasn't
can't play sports
It wasn't the athleticism. I remember what it was now. They had to cut off his wings. The little ones on the back? Little ones. Through the injury, he lost his wings, so he can't use the wings to fly anymore. That's why he's mad.
Oh, man.
Don't worry, though.
You got my wings all
It's all been a plan this whole time by Knighthawk.
Yeah.
To, like, throw them off. And
your wing's in my peanut butter. Your peanut butter's in my wing.
I remember that Family Guy with the Reese's.
Sure.
But basically, him joining was just a whole ruse.
Okay.
And the military shows up.
So him joining with Chaos.
Yes, was just a whole ruse of Karass.
Sure. Dr. General Karass Chaos.
Was a whole ruse by them, by both the Pike boys, to get the government in there to capture General Chaos and his cronies.
So they hand him over to the military.
And that's how it ends. That's Knighthawk.
Good job, Knighthawk. You did it. All right, so you sent me the cover of this thing.
What? That's it. 6 issues. And I get, obviously, like, you come across...
You tell me this freaking Knighthawk is not Spider-Man / Spawn.
Does he?
I mean, that's exactly what it is.
He looks like it.
Yeah. His cape moves on its own. He's got weird stuff going on in his life. For some reason, there's like a golden dude down at the bottom. I don't know.
Oh, that person never appears, so.
Never in the comic.
No.
All right. It's like a sun god or something down
and
at the bottom.
This is the cover for issue 1.
And again, Knighthawk looks like he's firing out of one of his feet and then another hand.
But it's just the gun there. It's his,
I'm really trying on this guy,
I really just love the W for Windjammer. Yeah. And also the signature above Knighthawk. Neil Adams has a nice signature.
Knighthawk.
Yep.
Because it is with a K.
It is with a K. It's like Dark Knight.
Knighthawk.
Nighthawk, not like Knighthawk. Because there is a Nighthawk for Marvel that is spelt just with an N. So maybe that was around
it looks like one of these guns is coming out of his crotch, and the other one's in his hand that looks like it's turned around the wrong way.
Oh, it does look like it's
weird, man.
So there you go. That is the greatness.
And in one of them, he's shooting a weird red bullet, and the other one, he's shooting fire out of the gun. And he's just screaming the whole time. And he's got like that. Who's the karate guy in Marvel?
Which one? Iron Fist?
Yeah. You know how he wears that thing on top of his head?
Oh, yeah, he does have the Iron Fist kind of.
Yeah.
But in other, like inside the comic book, it looks more like a cow.
Okay.
Like it's connected to something.
Oh, you said a cowl.
Yes.
I thought you said a cow. It looks just like a cow on his head.
He looks like a cow, yeah.
Great.
He was going to go with Professor Utter, but...
Come on, Knighthawk.
So...
That's great.
That's Knighthawk.
That was fun.
Yeah. I mean,
really enjoyed that.
There's things like that aren't going to be as crazy as the other stuff, but they're still just equally weird.
God, this was $250? Oof.
Yeah, back in 95. And this is the thing, though. Like, I don't really count that as an origin story.
No, there's no origin there.
Because we never learn why he fights crime.
Why do his eyes glow yellow?
I don't know. Maybe that was going to be in issue 7.
Man. He's got a big bird on his face. There's that.
Oh, yeah, he does have a big bird on his face. Not Big Bird, a big bird.
He's got a big bird on his face. Snuffleupagus on his butt. It's great.
When it says like that, it sounds like he just fought Big Bird. Like Big Bird was in that orphanage.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Those gun holsters are like on his shins.
Yes. Like who has them that low?
That is really odd. Well, I really enjoyed it. That was great. General Chaos. Dr. General Chaos.
So there you go. That's Knighthawk, the clone of his brother Jay, who was made with aliens.
It's always the aliens, man.
There's aliens in everything.
There's always so many freaking aliens. Aliens just has to be like one of those things that's like portals or whatever, where it's just easy. You go, well, how do you get those powers? Aliens? Sure.
Half of the episodes we've have had aliens in them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the thing is
freaking aliens.
Only one of them needed it. So it was unnecessary aliens in the other two.
Which one needed aliens?
I guess the new Guardians are kind of aliens. Like we talked about the villains.
Yeah.
The villains didn't really have, aliens Remember Aliens?
Alien truck drivers.
That's the one. I don't know why there was aliens in that.
Yeah, it's
Because
just
we
at the
need to
end.
have a truck driver in space.
Well, I'm just saying it just seems like it's one of those things that's just so easy for like lazy writing or whatever.
Oh, totally.
You know? Oh yeah, well it's aliens. Okay.
Oh, all right, that works.
All right, guys. Well, we're brought to you by aliens, and alien technology.
Yes.
We use the Testacuzzi, which I like to think is it's got to be some part alien technology.
I mean, it
because
has
it's
to
for the nuts.
Yes.
Sure.
And if anybody knows anything about that, it's aliens.
Aliens know a lot about nuts.
That's true.
Sure.
That's why they're behind the pistachio boom.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, yeah. Okay. Pistachios are sometimes red and they're sometimes green. It's weird, right?
There's red pistachios?
Yeah, like the ones you see that the cops eat when they're on a stakeout. They're always like in those little red shells.
I guess I've never noticed
Oh
that.
yeah, man. Yeah, they come away with like the red on their fingers and stuff. Like watch one of the Naked Gun movies where he's sitting outside, on a stakeout. He's got like this giant pile of red pistachio leavings.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, and he's got like red all around his mouth and on his fingers and
From
stuff.
the pistachio?
Yeah,
It's been forever since. Is that the first one?
I don't know. It's one of them.
I've seen them. It's just been a while. But there you
It's
go.
one of them with O.J. Simpson. That really takes you out of the movie.
Oh yeah.
When you're watching Police Squad and boom, O.J.
Oh yeah.
Look, O.J.'s doing something silly. Yeah, okay.
And you're just like, yeah, that's funny.
Wait
but
a second. He's a murderer.
yeah.
Oh, well.
oh,
All right, tell
Naked
people how to
Gun.
find us.
You can find us on Instagram, BroFoHero. You can email us at brosfoesandheroes@gmail.com.
Sure.
So plenty of ways to get a hold of us. Let us know what you think of the show. You can find us everywhere you find podcasts. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe, give us a like, give us a review. Just let us know what you think. I think that we're providing some pretty fun content out there.
I think we are too. I think we're providing some very needed content out there. There's a lot of people that won't admit that they don't know anything about these guys
That's true.
and gals and in-betweens.
And I can tell you,
And
none
aliens.
of us knew about Nighthawk before 3 weeks ago. Not 3
Nighthawk.
weeks ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And then I read the whole thing. So
Yeah.
if I have to know about it, you have to
What
know
I
about
like
it.
what I like to think of this show is Zach's very slow drift into madness. Like
I like
as
that.
you're having to read all these things, your life is just kind of blah,
I'll have evidence then whenever I have to
Yeah.
plead insanity
Yeah.
for something. I like that.
This is part of the court record.
Okay.
Fast forward 5 years, this is part of the court record. So you got about 4.5.
Hey, and you get to all enjoy it with us.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
there you go.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. And you want to give us a little preview of next week or no?
I mean, I think
Ping
that,
pong man.
no, I can tell you. I'll give a teaser that won't be too much.
Okay.
We're going to dive into the animal kingdom,
Ooh.
and I'll just leave it at
All
that.
right, I love that. Monkey Boy coming up. All right, guys. See ya. It's been fun.
Bye, guys.
Got it, Con.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.